Hello all my beautiful little unicorns and welcome back to my channel. And if this is indeed the first time that you're on my channel, my name is Vanessa Somuayina and I'd like to welcome you into the fam. My gorgeous souls, in today's psychic reading, I have got a letter that was meant to find you. Without further ado, I want to get straight into your psychic prediction with you. As usual, take what serves you, leave what doesn't. And let's first open up this letter to see what your angels and guides need you to know right now. Dear you have always been different. You were meant for more in this lifetime. You might have already suspected this. You have been through so much in an incredibly short period of time. You have been shaped and tested into becoming who you are today. This message was meant to find you, to help heal you, to confirm what you already suspected to be the truth. And once you have received this timeless psychic reading, you will know exactly why you were brought here and exactly what is coming next. Your angels. All right, my gorgeous soul, I am so excited to get into this reading. And at this point, as a little disclaimer, make sure you get a beverage of your choice ready, get your favorite snack, make yourself comfortable and at home, because we're going to get really deeply into all of the messages that you are meant to receive. So I will place your letter right up here and we'll get straight into the reading. So we'll be getting into today's reading, starting off old school with the traditional Rider-Waite tarot deck, and then we'll be adding more tarot and oracle cards into your prediction to figure out everything that you have to know. So we've got the Seven of Wands, the King of Swords in reverse. Don't worry, I'm about to explain to you exactly what this means and how this pertains to your life. And then we've got the Ten of Pentacles. I can already tell you that what's coming next is going to be an incredible shift in your life when it comes to the earthly and the material realm. So I'm talking your job, your living situation, and your finances. I see here in the Seven of Wands that there is this hard work that you're putting in, as you can see in this card. Even though there are challenges, even though there are objections, even though there are things coming towards you, as the Suit of Wands is the suit of masculine energy, phallic energy, the energy of doing, you're not giving up, you're not giving in. Your parents did not raise a quitter and they did not raise a coward. You are an extremely brave personality. And what I see here in the King of Swords is that is actually making someone leave your life, as the King of Swords is showing up in reverse. So someone who always had a lot to say about your success. It could be a coworker, a boss, a parent, a teacher, someone who basically undermined your capabilities and said to you that they weren't sure you would accomplish as much as you dreamt of. They're really quiet because they can see that you are relentlessly pursuing your goals and your dreams, and that basically you are unstoppable. There's basically nothing that is getting in your way, and that the inevitable result that we have confirmed here within your reading is the Ten of Pentacles. And what the Ten of Pentacles means is complete fulfillment in the earthly realms. So having the exact job that you desire, having the income you've always wanted, being abundant in the earthly realms, financially, materially, in your home, living the lifestyle that you've always wanted to live. The number 10 is a number of fulfillment, and the Suit of Pentacles is the suit of everything that is finite and everything that we've got in the earthly realms, as already mentioned. So the beautiful thing about this progression is that you are rewarded for not giving up. You are rewarded for showing up and getting through challenges despite people saying that they don't believe in you. Despite the fact that the odds are against you, you are not allowing that to stop you or to get in the way of your dreams and your goals and your aspirations. And while others were too afraid, you stuck by yourself, you continue to remain positive, and you're going to be reaping all of the rewards that comes with that sooner rather than later. And I want to see what Spirit has to say next. We've got the Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords in reverse, and we already had the King of Swords in reverse. Now the Suit of Swords, in case you didn't know, is the suit of the element of air. So air signs are Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. Those are leaving, those are going. The communicators who give backhanded compliments and comments, who give you advice that you don't need, they are leaving because they can see they can't rattle you anymore. Narcissists are leaving your life. I'm seeing here a connection that might have even been semi-romantic. They're going, they're toxic, they're leaving. They don't want to try to control you anymore because they see that they simply cannot. Wow, next we have the Ten of Cups, which just as the Ten of Pentacles, that is confirmation that the perfect relationship, marriage, and emotional legacy is forming around you. The Ten of Cups, as you can see, it is a card, it is a symbol and a sign of fulfillment coming towards you. We already discussed in the Ten of Pentacles, we received the message of things in the earthly realm going exactly the way you desire. And now it's happening for you emotionally too, because the Suit of Cups is the suit of emotions and relationships and love. And the Ten of Cups is basically the best card that you can receive in the Suit of Cups. It's the best card with the best message about your future and about what's coming next. So if you were wondering whether your love life is ever going to be in a way that you're super happy, that you have that partner you've always desired, you have the family, I want you to know here in the Ten of Cups that that is the confirmation for you that you have been seeking, that this is a big yes. Not only do you have the relationship, but you also have the financial and the professional stability to back that up and to sustain that. Because one thing that people often kind of find very challenging is when they've got a partner that's amazing, but they're not able to actually do life together and enjoy each other's company because they're strapped for cash, finances, and earthly abundance. But I see that that will not be the case for you whatsoever. Next, we've got Go Inward. And Go Inward with this butterfly, it's actually an orange butterfly, just as we received within your letter. Do you see the resemblance? So we have this synchronicity with the orange butterfly, and for all of you butterfly lovers and geeks out there, let me know if this is a very specific type of butterfly, because that is an area in which I still have a lot to learn, but Spirit is bringing this symbol and this particular butterfly into your reading for a reason. Butterflies always represent transformation. Butterflies always represent transformation and also a type of freedom that you can only get by connecting with your inner child. That's exactly the message you're receiving here in Go Inward. It's time to connect with your inner child. It's time to connect with the fun part of you, the part of you that has perhaps felt left behind for a very long time. And then we've also received Going on an Adventure. And what I love here is that first we receive Go Inward, which corresponds to number 16, and then Going on an Adventure corresponds to number 17. Even though the deck has been shuffled and moved, we have these two consecutive numbers showing up. Going on an adventure with this kind of unicorn Pegasus type of animal and creature is all about trying something daring today. Book that flight today. Decide you're going on a holiday or on a vacation today. Decide to try something new with your hair, with your outfit today that you did not have the courage to do before. Your angels and your spirit guides are bringing you this message right now as you're receiving your reading to say to you, try something new, be daring, and connect to your inner child. If your inner child is craving wearing flashy colors or being spontaneous and going somewhere to an island, to Bali, to Tokyo, to South Korea, to Peru, just go, book the flight and commit to it, because if not now, then when? Next up, we've got number 35, there is hope ahead. If you're thinking to yourself right now, all right, Vanessa, I love you and I love these messages and I'm here for it, but I just don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm strapped for time, I'm strapped for cash, I'm strapped for feeling confident enough. Have courage, take heart. There is hope. That is the message we're receiving here to back up the feelings that may come up right now for you that are doubtful. That is what Spirit needs to remind you of, that there is hope ahead for you experiencing all of these things, because you've got to remember, you only have this life and you weren't put on earth to just work, pay bills, and retire, and that be it. You were put on this earth to really experience life, to experience new places, the places you've always dreamt of going. We have this dreamy landscape here. And within Get Lost, next we've also got number 15, which actually we had 15, 16, and 17. Some may say this is a coincidence. We always interpret this in the Unicorn Squad as a synchronicity, which means things are happening in order. And the order here within Getting Lost is falling deep into the realm of imagination. So first we've got 15, then 16, then 17, then 35. 15 is about getting lost and falling into your realm of imagination. planning your trip, planning where you want to go, imagining your dream adventures. Do that, and make sure that when you do that, you go inward, you connect with your inner child and with all of the positive emotions that come up as you're daydreaming about these trips and world exploration that you're doing. And then make sure you go on the adventure, book it, book the ticket, book the trip, make time in your calendar, and know that even if, for example, you've only booked the plane ticket so far because it's months ahead, you'll figure out the accommodation. Sometimes you have to take that first step to figure out the rest, unless you will stay stuck in the known patterns forever. And your angels are saying, break the norm, break the patterns, break the things that you're used to in order to create the new. Next up, we have got the chili, which represents stimulation. And guess what? We've got the number 18. So we've gone from 15, 16, 17 to 18. This is a steady progression. And 18 is the number and the symbol of having a very stimulated life and no more feeling like you have to be normal. If you've always felt like you were the black sheep, if you've always felt like you were different, if you always felt like there's just something about you that means that life will be different than the norm, you will lead a life that is more unique, that is one of a kind. I want you to know that this is confirmed within your reading, and that when you're not stimulated enough, you might have noticed you're more tired, you're more lethargic, you're not really feeling yourself or life very much unless you're doing something fun. But the thing is, sometimes you feel like you are being crazy, you're being over the top, or you're just being lazy. When you feel like you cannot motivate yourself to do some of the work that you know you have to do, it's not because you're lazy or just procrastinating. Sometimes it's because you haven't rewarded yourself enough with trips, with yummy, tasty, healthy foods, with going to dance classes, Pilates classes, with rewarding yourself with new shoes, clothes that are high quality that you've always desired. Sometimes you are so kind of self-sacrificing, and honestly, Spirit is telling me a little cheap on yourself, that you need more stimulation, you need to give yourself more fun, you need to give yourself more abundance because you deserve it. Next up, we've got the Snapdragon. The Snapdragon corresponds to number 41. The Snapdragon corresponds to purification, purifying your mind of the overthinking that, oh, maybe I'm being too much, maybe I'm giving myself too many excuses, but I feel like I have to really earn this trip, I have to deserve this new thing. You are, therefore you deserve. Have you ever thought of that? Have you ever thought of the fact that you being who you are in itself means that you deserve your desires, and that your desires are here for a reason? Spirit is telling me here in the 10-90 ratio that you have to be reminded that life really is just 10% of what happens to you, and 90% is how you react to it. And that puts a lot of the responsibility back on you, which sometimes, I know, it can feel scary, but at the same time, it also makes you extremely powerful. Because when life is only 10% what happens to you and 90% how you react to it, now that means not only are you responsible for your own happiness in your life, but you can steer it exactly where you want it to go, far more than you were maybe aware of, far more than you allowed yourself to believe. Because sometimes we struggle to actually believe in our own personal power. We struggle to believe that we can manifest anything that we want, that anything that we desire is supposed to be ours, that we can get there. Or we feel a little embarrassed to post on YouTube or on Instagram, or to tell others that yes, we're starting our own business, we're doing our own thing, we're wanting to become a tarot reader, we're wanting to put up our own online store. And at this point, I want to remind you, if you're struggling with that, if you're a fellow tarot reader, or you are someone who works in a very scientific type of job and you want to start your online business in health and wellness, you want to grow through using manifestation, but also business practices such as creating lead magnets, creating your online course platform, and you would like guidance in a community in which every single day you receive a private reading within our community from me. I post it within our community, every divine message we are meant to receive for love, our careers, finances, and health. make sure that you join my Millionaire Muse Room. It's linked below in the description box, and I have designed it to be accessible to any type of size of business, whether you're just starting out or you are wanting to grow your business because you've already gotten some traction. This membership is structured in a way how it is supportive to your business growth. And also on a monthly basis, there are new videos that are added. You've got the daily tarot readings. You have live Q&As with me that you then have access to. So this is really a one-stop shop. As I thought to myself, what would I have needed 5 to 10 years ago that would have saved me a lot of hassle, made me more confident, and told me exactly how I can build my audience organically without paying for ads, and yet still building my business in a sustainable way, while coaching, while tarot reading. So I built exactly that. You can use it on your laptop, on your desktop, but I have also created a custom app for us. That's right, you guys. The Unicorn Mom never plays, not with the decks that I've published, not with my online courses, and not with my Millionaire Muse membership do I ever spare any amount of hassle or work to make it an incredible experience. And you see that in my videos as well. I always go the extra mile. So trust that if you love my videos, if you've been part of the Unicorn Army for years already, you are energetically going to instantly feel the upgrade of this space as soon as you're within the community, as soon as you're part of the Millionaire Muse Room community. So the link to that is below, and to that is in the description box. And the first 10 people that join from this video will receive their membership at a lifetime discounted rate. All of the information can be found below in the description box. So if you have been wanting to build your business, to be guided by me with tarot, but also divine psychic guidance on this journey, join us, because there is always so much going on within there, in the community especially, where we talk and grow and share, and I do readings for you every single day. So next up, we have received healthy boundaries. Delving back into your reading, you are being called to set healthy boundaries with people who want to overstep them. For a lot of my audience, I know you will think my mother. A lot of you are thinking your boyfriends. A lot of you DM me about people overstepping the boundaries that you have tried to put in place, and you ask me what to do. It could be your husband, it could be your life partner, even a boss, someone that you work with. And what I am getting here is this message that in order to enforce your healthy boundaries, you need to stop talking and just start doing. Now, that doesn't mean that you become combative. That doesn't mean that you become angry. That means that you simply revoke access from yourself, and you need to start showing people rather than talking. So rather than just saying, hey, I don't like what you did, it seems like you don't respect my boundaries, go silent and remove yourself. Go silent from the situation and no longer feed your energy into it, because that's exactly what people want. They want your energy. Instead, focus on your own personal rehabilitation. That means resting, recuperating, rejuvenating, feeling safe. One thing that I am getting here is that you have not taken time to properly sleep and rest and feel safe in quite some time. And this is not to call you out on the lack of self-care, but your angels are trying to say, when you create these boundaries, that is what creates space and time for you to focus on yourself. When you're always serving other people, you're taking precious self-care time away. When you're always serving other people, you're taking away time for you to go to rehabilitation. That doesn't mean that you have to go specifically to a rehab, so don't take that the wrong way. What this means is even the rehab of just being at home and not having to answer to anyone, not having to do anything, but just laying in your bed, having your favorite snacks by your side and watching a show that gives you this nostalgic feeling of the good old days. Because remember, right now, this very moment will one day be the good old days, and you will have wished that you enjoyed this moment more. Boss up. That's the next message we're receiving for you. No more playing small, but what's coming next is you you bossing up profusely. You're bossing up your looks, okay? You are wearing the sharp blazers, the suits, the pants. You are looking put together, clean, professional. Nobody even thinks to mess with you when you are in your bossed up energy. Furthermore, bossing up also means bossing up to say, this is the boundary, and if I need a day of rest, of sleep, of turning off my phone, or of just not serving others, I will do so. And I should. And I want you to know here, especially if you're a parent, you might sometimes feel this tug of war of, but I have to be there for my family and I have to be there for my kids and I don't want to be selfish. Well, your kids deserve someone who is well rested, and so does your partner. All of you who are partnered up in relationships, or you have needy pets, dogs, cats, well, if you constantly pour, one day your cup will be empty, and perhaps your cup is already empty. You feel a quiet sense of resentment, which I'm not judging you for on this channel. We are not here to judge. I would never tell anyone, nor would I ever judge you. But it is just a reminder that that will continue to build until you learn to live sustainably by filling up your cup regularly, so you can even pour from a cup that has something in it. So focusing on yourself means that you're actually giving more to those that you love, because you can show up more fully without any type of resentment, without feeling like you are giving and never receiving, like you are always pouring out and you're feeling tired. Oh, Spirit is saying here in emotional baggage that this comes from a place in your childhood where perhaps you were always the one who had to carry so much weight and so much baggage. Your parents gave you a big suitcase. They didn't know any better, and maybe you even had a mom that was very self-sacrificing, a parent that did a lot, and you learned that from them. You learned that it's okay to be extremely self-sacrificing, never ask for anything in return, because how dare you, right? You're supposed to just always give and never receive. That may have been the exact time in your life that shaped you to be such an empath and such a giver. And to this day, you feel the divide within you between wanting to care for you, but also wanting to show up for others, wanting to be an amazing person to everyone in your life. And I see here within the Queen of Wands, Königin der Stäbe, as this has showed up in a deck where things are written in German. Shout out to all of my German-speaking family and also my Swiss German-speaking family, for all of you who also are from Switzerland. Now, the Queen of Wands reversed tells me that the part of you with the masculine energy, as the suit of Wands is the suit of masculine energy, that part of you has left, and the thing is, you need that part of you back. So we need to go out and get it. That's the message I'm receiving here. You cannot live without it in this way. How do we go back out and get it? We start to become more vocal, okay? We start to set those boundaries and stick to them. Remember, here in healthy boundaries, we start to boss up and we're unapologetic about it. We're not saying sorry for our boundaries. We're not saying sorry for our desires. We're not saying sorry for showing up strongly in this world. That's how we're getting this masculine energy back. And if you know a little something about masculine energies, feminine energies, then you know and you've heard that we have both types of energies within our bodies, no matter who we identify as, which means that if you are a woman, you will have feminine energy, but you'll also have some masculine energy in you, which is the energy of doing, of taking action, of putting yourself out there. But you'll also have a significant amount and usually more feminine energy in you, which is the energy of receiving, of daydreaming, of creativity, nurturing, and being caring towards others. And if you identify as male, the exact same is true for you. You may have more masculine energy, which is more of the doing energy, the testosterone-filled energy, but you'll also have the feminine energy of being able to receive feedback, being able to receive ideas, having a creative streak in you. But usually those of us who identify as female and are in our divine feminine energy, we are extremely creative. That's our superpower. That is something that the world fears in us in so many ways. That's why we're being pushed to stay small in so many different parts of society. And when that is unified with the Queen of Wands energy of doing, so you're not just daydreaming, you don't just have a million ideas of how you can build, start, and create your business, but you're actually following through on it, you're actually doing it, that is when you become unstoppable, untouchable, and honestly, the boss that you're meant to be. And next up, we've got the Hierophant and these keys. I want you to know here, if you're looking for ideas on the online business that you can start, you want a list of more than 100 ideas, I've got a free PDF. It's linked below in the description box that you can download. And if you have been thinking of, what might be a good niche for me to unlock another stream of income in, for me to practice my masculine energy of putting myself out there, of making things happen, that might be extremely helpful for you. That is a tool and a resource that would be extremely helpful to you as well. So make sure that you download that from the description box of this video, and know here within the Hierophant that you're just one action away from unlocking abundance. You're one little nugget of wisdom, one divine message away from knowing exactly what to do next, from knowing exactly how to set up your website, knowing exactly what type of funnel to build, what you want to do in your coaching business, how you're going to get clients, one step away from starting that YouTube channel, finding your perfect formula to create your YouTube videos, your YouTube reels that always works, that always gets you organic traffic and views, and that allows you to build your business. All of these steps I see here, you are unlocking them bit by bit by using the right tools, by creating the healthy boundaries, by taking rehab away from people who are just subtracting from your life rather than adding, who are just creating confusion. You don't need that. Okay, because once you found your own formula, your own code for wealth, for knowledge, for health, for amazing energy that will attract the type of family dynamic into your life that you will just love living in, where you're like, oh my God, everything is going so well. My career is thriving. I have the family of my dreams that I am building, that I am able to enjoy. You will think to yourself, I wish I would have enjoyed this journey a lot more. And you will think to yourself, I'm so thankful that I never gave up and that I kept listening until that one piece of information crossed my path that changed everything. That one idea, that one epiphany and moment of spiritual enlightenment. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear and cleanse the space for us, and then I'll be back for us to delve even more deeply into your reading, because Spirit has epiphany nuggets for you. Spirit has all of the information that you have to receive still within the cards that we are going to continue to unravel. You don't have to lift a finger. You don't have to do a thing. Simply continue to lean back, relax, and enjoy this psychic reading that you were meant to receive, that is timeless, that has showed up in your life at just the perfect moment for you to receive this information in. And I'll be right back to guide us even more deeply into your prediction. Welcome back, my gorgeous soul. Let's delve even more deeply into these messages you were meant to receive today, because your angels and spirit guides have far more in store for you than you have anticipated. Let's get into it. We have got the 4 of water, and then we've also got the 8 of water. And we've got the 7 of earth. Wow, I can't wait to get into this, because one thing that I see here in the 4 of water as well as the 8 of water is that you're walking away from a procedure that you thought you wanted to get in order to improve yourself on an external level, and you're like, you know what, I don't need that, because I am gorgeous as I am. As you should, my beautiful soul. That is how you should be thinking about yourself. You should feel confident about the things that were passed down to you from generations before you, from your great-grandmother, your grandparents. When you look in the mirror, rather than comparing yourself to what society tries to deem as the only beauty standard, how about you see your ancestors and how much they fought in order for you to now have this life that you currently have and all the opportunities that are before you. And the 4 of water just shows me that you're becoming far more confident, far more happy with the way you look, with your appearance. Rather than trying to do anything that is mega invasive, you're actually focusing on an amazing lifestyle. I see here within the 7 of earth, you're focusing on lowering your cortisol levels, which is the stress hormone, because having too much cortisol in your bloodstream, which is the stress hormone, makes you not only more stressed, but it also ages you far more quickly than you need to. It also causes you to feel discomfort. It makes you look puffy. It makes you more tired. it makes you a lesser version of yourself if you allow that to happen for too long. And I do see here within your reading that right now you are focused on just being the best version of yourself and working with the tools that you have. And this is not one of those body positivity movement type things where it's like, oh, eat the entire cake if that's what your body is craving, because let's be real, that was so toxic in itself as well. Because after all, why would you give yourself something that is so overindulgent that will make you feel terrible in the next hour or the next days? That isn't self-care either. But actually finding balance, actually aligning yourself in a way how, yes, you have some indulgence, but you also really appreciate delayed gratification. You're the kind of person who knows how to wait for good things. You're the type of person who understands, okay, if I want a specific result, I have to put in a specific amount of work, and that work will require discipline. You are not in Delulu land where you feel like if you just sit down cross-legged and manifest or meditate on it once per week for 5 minutes, your dream life will happen. You love divine guidance and you love to connect everything that's spiritual with who you are. But at the same time, you also know that manifestation and spirituality requires inspired action from you towards your goals. And I see that you're taking all of the right action. The King of Air also tells us you are extremely intelligent. Now, you were put in a position where you reflected on your intelligence because you had people in life make you question that. You were made to feel like you're not as smart as you really are. Not because it's true, but because when this person, I'm getting teacher, I'm getting parent, they felt insecure by your confidence already as a kid, as a teenager. So rather than allowing you to continue to have that confidence, rather than allowing you to build on that, they let their insecurity take over, which then made them say things to you and about you that caused you to start to question yourself. Because now all of a sudden, it's like the seed of insecurity was planted in you, the seed of doubt, and it started to sprout and grow. But the King of Air, which is the King of Swords, cutting straight through that and making sure that none of these weeds are ever going to come back. I see here in the King of Earth that that's exactly what the King of Earth portion of you is doing. You're allowing for your divine masculine energy that you have to make sure that grounds are not fertile anymore for weeds of doubt to grow, for any thoughts that aren't helpful or necessary to come back and take over your mind. I see that you are growing in inner strength to a level that you have never experienced before. And now is the perfect time for that, because now you are ready for more opportunity and also more responsibility. Remember, there's this saying, to whom much is given, much is expected. And Spirit, your angels, the universe is ready to give you more. But remember, when more is given, more is expected. And to prepare you for more, life often has these challenges, these tests of your character that you go through. And in the moment, you may not understand what it's about, but I see here within the 10 of Knives that shortly after you have received this psychic reading, there will be a resurrection of thoughts where you have huge moments of enlightenment, these huge aha moments where you realize, aha, okay, this is why I went through this challenge. This is why people tried to stop me from being successful. This is why this person betrayed me, because I was meant to learn the lesson of not just trusting a stranger so easily. I was meant to learn the lesson that perhaps these dating apps are not the best place to meet a forever lover. I was meant to learn that I can't trust everyone at work with my secrets. I was meant to learn that even if it is family, even if they are blood related, that doesn't mean that that makes them loyal immediately or automatically. I see here within the Maiden of Shells that these thoughts become your liberator. The next phase of your life makes you feel free because you're detaching yourself from expecting certain outcomes with anyone or anything. So in the past, you had more expectation for other people. You met someone, you were perhaps romantically open to it, but then you realize that actually you should not be putting so much faith in someone that you don't know and someone whose intentions have not been proven yet. So it's not that you have a timeline, it's that you have this kind of test of what do they do when they have the opportunity to show you who they truly are. So you are judging people based off of their actions, not based on what they say. And that is helping you to have the best possible connections in your life and to weed out the talkers, the people who just say things to win you over. If you've ever been in the dating game, then you know that there are people who will take it extremely far with future faking, which means promising this rosy future of you being married to them, having kids, moving in together, being in a relationship, them taking care of you spiritually, emotionally, physically, financially, all of these things that they know very well they do not intend on ever doing or following through with. But because if you are someone who does mean what they say, but you would never think from the perspective of someone who just says stuff but doesn't mean it, just in order to get closer to another person, to buy themselves into intimacy, to buy themselves trust so they can control another person or use them, siphon their energy. When all of these things are new to you, it's normal that you fall for them because to the pure, all things are pure. Remember that. When you are a pure person, you don't see danger at every corner because you don't see the world from that perspective. But once you've learned one or two lessons in your life, you become a little bit better at intuitively understanding when to be cautious and who to trust and who not to trust. The Four of Cups tells me here that you've been through an awkward phase, like as a teenager, for example, where you looked awkward, you felt awkward, you didn't fit in anywhere, and you knew that you were inherently different. You knew you were going to have a different future than your peers, than the people that you went to school with. You knew that something about you just did not fit in with the norm, that you were probably also not going to conform to the norm. So you were always going to be someone who would stand out. You knew this. You knew that that's what the future holds in place for you. And when this happens, you can feel very alone in those moments, like nobody gets you. But one thing that I want you to know here is that in those moments where you learn to love yourself and your company, that's when you liberate yourself from the need to be liked by others. And that gives you so much strength. I see here in the King of Wands that it activates this king portion of you. We've got 3 kings in your reading so far, the King of Earth, the King of Air, and the King of Wands. There are only 4 kings in total in a tarot deck in 78 individual cards. So for so many kings and king energy to be showing up in your reading, that tells us that for one, I see kings coming into your life. People who are mature, who have their life together. If you're single, then kings marching into your life is exactly the type of potential romantic partner that I want you to be able to choose from. And if you're in a relationship or right now you're kind of focused on yourself, having a lot of king energy show up, that means a lot of masculine energy. Masculine energy is the energy of action taking and motivation, but also making sure that you don't allow for things to intimidate you. If you have a dream and others don't believe in it, that doesn't mean that your dream isn't meant for you to actually pursue it. Just because someone else can't see it for you doesn't mean that you should stop seeing it for yourself. And just because others might not be as brave as you to follow their dreams doesn't mean that you should not go down the path of betting everything on yourself. I'm hearing from your spirit guides that now is a time for you to nip the overthinking in the bud. Get rid of it. Those thoughts, as soon as they come up, the thinking of, can I really do this? But I've never done it before. I'm afraid nobody is going to purchase my service. I'm afraid nobody is going to watch my videos. I'm worried that it will flop. I'm worried that I will be laughed at. I'm worried people will tell me, see, we were right, we told you it wouldn't work. As soon as you start to drift into that thinking, remember here that you are more capable than you have realized in the past, but you're going to start living as that person now. And here within the Hermit, that does a lot of healing within you. When those thoughts come up, and rather than allowing them to tell you where you're going, which is not towards your dreams, you take a step back and you reflect. That's what the hermit represents, the Eremit in German. The hermit represents you taking a step back and doing the inner work of working through these blockages, even if that means that you are alone, even if that means that you don't have anyone who gets you, even if that means that you have to heal with everyone else thinking you're crazy, you're overly sensitive, or you're over the top. You don't care about that. I see here within the Maker reverse that we have a very important message at this point of your reading for you that you were meant to receive. This very important message of the Maker in reverse is that you have said no too often already. Your no's have run out. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is the fact that there are so many instances in which you have said no to fun, to going on vacation, to putting yourself first, to investing in yourself, your business, your dreams, and your aspirations. And your guides are saying to you, stop saying no. This has showed up in reverse for the reason that now's the time to just say yes. Say yes and see what happens. Say Yes to Heaven is the song that comes to mind by Lana Del Rey. Listen to that if you haven't already, and that is the theme song of the next few days. Say yes to heaven. Say yes to yourself. Say yes to the growth that is just around the corner if you stop overthinking and just start living. Next up, we have got the Chariot reversed. This is confirmation that the more you say no, the slower you go. It makes sense, but sometimes you have to be reminded of the most simple things in order to realize, hey, it's actually not that hard. Sometimes I just have to be reminded of the fact that I have options, that I don't need to overthink it. Sometimes the solutions are the simplest things, like just post the video, just post the reel, just make the website, just ask them out, just go out, go for Pilates, drink the celery juice, get over the overthinking of how you can be the healthiest, most lovable, most successful version of yourself. If you stay in your head, you're dead. That's a quote by Tony Robbins that I love because it's so true. Get out of the mode of overthinking. That's what I'm receiving here within your reading. Get out of overthinking, get into the king energy of divine masculine doing. It won't make you too masculine. It will give you that edge back that you perhaps lost along the way. Next up, we've got breathe in. How's your breathing right here, right now? Because perhaps throughout this reading, up until now, being called out from your guides and your angels, you haven't even been breathing properly. You've only been breathing in a super, super shallow way, not even down into your stomach, but literally just allowing for your breathing to only be at the top of your lungs. Now it's time for you to breathe properly, to breathe deeply, and to allow for yourself to remember breathing is important. If you're feeling so lethargic, you're feeling so tired, and you don't know why, because you slept enough, you ate, you shouldn't be this tired, and you're asking yourself, why is this? It could be because your brain isn't even getting enough oxygen. Have you ever thought of that? Have you ever thought that if you don't breathe deeply, and you do that for an entire day, of course your body won't be as energized if every single cell in your body is getting less oxygen than if you actually focus on your breathing for a few moments. You check in a few moments every single day with your breathing and remind yourself to breathe deeply in order to supply yourself with the life force, the prana, that is air, that is energy, that allows you to be as energetic as you can be, to do everything that you've set your mind toward. Next up, we've got accept what is. The act of acceptance will bring peace. If you feel like you've made mistakes or there are people you've trusted in the past, some of you had relationships or have been through divorces, business relationships where you had to face the repercussions with a lot of your time feeling like it was wasted, a lot of your money being wasted, a lot of your trust in other people being wasted. And I want you to accept what is, because the message we're receiving here is that Acceptance is what you need to bring peace. It doesn't mean you have to forgive something that you're not ready to forgive. Spirit would never ask you to betray yourself like that. Your angels would never want for you to pretend that something is okay that really isn't. But it's time for you to accept what is, because the act of accepting, yes, you were backstabbed, you were betrayed, you trusted, you believed, and in the end, they lied. But that doesn't mean that it was your fault. That doesn't mean that you have to keep allowing for that trauma to affect you and to make you feel like you can't trust anyone anymore. Next up, we've got flow with the rhythm. Get lost in the rhythm of movement today. Have you moved today yet? All of you who follow me on Instagram, which is quite a few of you, we're at 40,000, I think, which is huge in my opinion. I know for some people it's tiny. For me, I think it's huge. It's a huge amount of people. It's like a stadium full of beautiful individuals like yourself. And you know, if you watch my stories, I do 10,000 steps every single day at least, if not 15,000. And I encourage you to do the same. I encourage you to do the same also within my Millionaire Muse membership. It is lifestyle. It's being healthy. Because if you're not healthy, if you're not moving, if you are not understanding that your body deserves attention, then how could you possibly be the most successful version of yourself? How could you possibly build a business without the encouragement and the insight that in order to build a business and long term be able to sustain it, you have to have the stamina, you have to have the energy to be able to do so. Because if the energy is missing, even getting up in the morning will eventually become a challenge. So have you moved today is the simple question. How many steps have you done? Do you have a step counter? If not, get yourself a Fitbit. I'm now using a Garmin, but I started off with a Fitbit, which is more than enough. They have apps where you can track your steps. You can even do that with your phone. It's a little less accurate, but it's better than nothing, hey. Perhaps going to the gym, going to that Pilates class, going out and about just for a stroll with a friend, with a family member, is a way how you can distract yourself and still get the movement that you need and your body deserves in. What I do is I've got a walking pad with a standing desk, and I even do editing on there. I edit my videos, my readings right on there, and I reply emails on there as well. I post in my community on there. And another thing that I do, if the weather isn't great, I take phone calls on my walking pad. If the weather is great, I go outside, and that's when I make all my phone calls. I call all of my favorite people. That way you can flow with movement. You can get movement in without even realizing that, yeah, actually you've put in quite a bit of work, okay? Before you know it, an hour has gone by of you moving, walking, doing things around your home. And you didn't even notice that you got that flow. You allowed for that rhythm to take place in your body rather than staying overthinking in your head, sitting on your couch or sitting in bed. Now, next, we've received the message of flow. Your spirit guides mentioned flow here in the previous card already, flow with the rhythm, and now we've received flow again. And we have a lot of these purple, darker types of vibes, which is your color. If you've been thinking of getting that dark purple dress or wearing a dark purple nail polish or lipstick, now is the time. Green eyes, green lenses, that's one thing I'm getting. And knowing here that flowy clothes that have a dark blue, dark purple hue, that will bring you into connection with your psychic side, and you'll feel very divine when you wear these types of pieces of clothing, because your ancestors probably already wore a kind of very regal look, so you feel very interconnected when you do so as well. Flow means not fighting against anything, but instead going with the rhythm, going with what feels right. Is there a relationship you're overthinking right now? Because one thing I'm getting in the Four of Cups and the Hermit is that there's a relationship that made you take a step back. So you're not letting this person know, but because you have been burned in the past, now when someone is really kind to you and shows you a lot of affection, you're asking yourself, you're literally typing into ChatGPT, what is the difference between love bombing and someone just genuinely liking me? Because that's what this world, this day and age has done to you psychologically. It's not your fault. And it is, of course, important that you learn to protect yourself, but it's also put you in a state where sometimes it's hard for you to let go. It's hard for you to just follow and go with the flow and let things develop naturally because you're on guard. And letting that guard down, letting those walls down, really, allowing them to cave, to fall, putting them away, that's one thing that I can see here that you're being called to allow, to permit, and to remember that your purity, which has just showed up in your reading in the form of this beautiful snow fox and the snow forest. Remember the quote I mentioned earlier, to the pure all things are pure. This is the confirmation. If you're asking yourself, okay, but am I this pure, super kind person? Am I part of that demographic like Vanessa is speaking of? And yes, you are. The fact that you are even worried about, oh my God, maybe I'm not, that already tells you everything that we need to know about you. Because if you have ever asked yourself, am I a narcissist? Am I a good person? Someone who isn't a good person doesn't ask themselves that. If you've ever met a narcissist or you've got a narcissist in your family, you know this. You know this better than anyone else. They don't self-reflect. That is a hallmark of a psychopathic person or a narcissistic person. The fact that they don't reflect. You being indulgent in self-reflection, you being someone who constantly wants to reflect, constantly wants to see how they can improve, how they can do better, how they can be a better lover, family member, mother, friend. That is the hallmark of a kind, caring person. And because you have this purity, it deserves to be protected by you, but it also deserves to come out to play when you just go with the flow. So meeting someone that is a new friend, a new connection, okay? Making a new acquaintance. Go with the flow and trust that even though your purity has been taken for weakness, your kindness has been taken for weakness in the past, you can still remain soft and pure, learn from those instances, and just distance yourself at the sign of any next red flags that you might encounter. I see here in the 10 of Keys, Spirit needs to say to you, you are burning yourself out. You're working a lot. You're doing a lot when it comes to your career and wanting to be as successful as you can be. And perhaps you've got pressure from family. Perhaps you have people that you need to provide for, that you need to be there for, and it's making you uneasy to not be successful. It's almost like you must be successful because otherwise other people will suffer. Otherwise other people might go without food, without electricity, without bills being paid. And I see here in the moon, you've always been an intuitive person who cares really, really deeply about others, and because you're so connected to other people's emotion, you can sense what someone is going through without them even needing to say it or to tell you the whole story. You already feel it. Ever since you've been a child, you could talk to someone and you would know more about them than they had even told you, because you could just feel it. You could feel who they are, you could feel what they needed, you could feel them as a person. And I want you to know here within the moon that this is actually a skill that is incredibly rare. This is a skill that not many people possess, and it is a connection to the divine and to psychic ability that your guides are saying, don't underestimate this. This is protection. There's a reason why this was passed down to you. And one thing I'm getting here is great-grandmother vibes of it being passed down to you. That's who this came from. It skipped a generation. It was able to find you again. And now you are the chosen one in your lineage and in your family. The divine one, the one who has the psychic ability that everyone else notices, but it's a little hush-hush. Nobody is really acknowledging it to the degree that they perhaps should. So you've never been so sure or certain, am I really this psychically and divinely gifted, or is it just all in my head? That's one thing that I see that you've been dealing with and that we're going to delve a little more deeply into. Because my gorgeous soul, what's going to happen now is I'm going to clear and cleanse the space, and then I'll be right back for us to delve even more deeply into your reading. You don't need to lift a finger or do a thing as usual. You know that right here on my channel, you're taken care of. You are pampered. I make sure you can just enjoy your psychic prediction. So continue to hold on tight, to relax, get yourself a snack, another beverage of your choice. Get the next chore going if you're listening to this while doing other things, while running errands, and I'll be right back to guide you even more deeply into these psychic messages that you were meant to receive right now. Welcome back, my gorgeous soul. Let's delve even more deeply into these messages you were meant to receive from the letter that we received for you at the start of this reading. So we have the owl spirit that popped right into your prediction. The owl is a symbol you will see show up just a day after you have received this reading. It could be printed on a t-shirt, it could be a little statue, or an owl emoji unexpectedly being sent to you. The owl spirit represents you seeing so clearly now. So you will get an insane amount of clarity that overwhelms you, where all of a sudden everything makes sense. All of a sudden, all of the questions that you had are being answered, and all of a sudden you no longer feel as though, wait a minute, why is this happening to me? But everything ties together into a place where you understand why you went through certain seasons, why certain people treated you the way that they did. And I see here in the canary spirit, you will have your very own life story that inspires so many others in deep ways that you did not even think you were put on this earth to do. Your story, your origin story, where you started, how hard that you fought, where you came from, and all of the effort that you put in to become who you are today. I'm getting you standing on stage and telling this story, speaking, inspiring others through writing as well. So writing poems, books, speaking on stages as a speaker or a coach. And another possible way that I see this going for you is through music and lyrics, and you are meant to go very far with this. Notice how the owl spirit and the canary spirit, they are both wearing a crown. Notice how this is part of what you were meant to receive in both of these birds as a symbolic gesture. Next, we have the cow spirit that is also wearing something almost like a crown, but it's like a flower crown. The cow spirit is representing that the miracles are endless. You're on the right path if you are in your creative energy. You were meant to follow your creativity, not a 9-to-5. You were meant to follow your creative ventures, not a job or a profession that makes you feel sucked dry by the end of the day. And I know it's easier said than done, but at the end of the day, your life is here in order for you to find a way to be as creative as you possibly can and live in that purpose. We all have our path to climb, to get onto, to learn how to overcome obstacles, and that is what we're meant to do in this lifetime. After all, what else do you have to do all day, right? Other than following your purpose. But maybe you also want to include your family in this, or the family that you're going to build. You are desiring to create a home that is emotionally safe, financially safe, and where one day you can have children that follow their dreams as well, because you took the leap of faith even if nobody believed in you, but you are a believer of others. That never made you bitter or cold or feel like you don't want to give others the flowers that you never got. Next up within read, your guides, your spirit guides are trying to say to you, it's time for you to read and educate yourself on all of the topics that you feel unsure about. For you, I am getting this message that you have been made to doubt your intuition, and now you're being called to read more, because when you read a lot of books, you become very confident in yourself, your knowledge, and your intelligence, because undeniably you've spent a lot of time honing in on that. So nobody can deny that you've put in the work. And another way in which you can grow your confidence is to ground yourself through meditation that your spirit guides are recommending that you participate in now, especially if you've been putting off your meditations for a very long time. Because I know some of you, you have the best intentions, but then when it comes down to actually meditating, you're not doing it. So if that is you, if that resonates, take this moment right now, if you can, to close your eyes and allow yourself for the next minute as we delve more deeply into your messages and into your reading to meditate. Okay, meditation doesn't have to mean sitting quietly in a room for 20 minutes and feeling overwhelmed because your mind is going everywhere. Meditation can mean just taking some moments now, closing your eyes right here with me, breathing deeply, just focusing on the sound of the cards, the shuffling, and the sound of my voice with these messages coming through that you were meant to receive. Take some deep breaths. And you'll already have completed your meditation for today. Congratulate yourself for that, because your meditation can be a minute, can be 30 seconds, can be 30 minutes. The most important thing in the next message we received for you with Master number 22 in the planet of Mars is that motion is the most important thing. Motion meaning take action. And the planet of Mars is the planet that informs the way you take action. So if you have an air sign within Mars, as we had the owl spirit and the canary spirit showing up, that means if you're a Gemini, an Aquarius, a Libra within your Mars, I want you to know here what that means is that you take action by thinking and overthinking. If you are a fire sign, an Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, then your action taking might be a little impulsive. It might be a little too masculine at times. I want you to take a second to breathe into the thought of how you take action, because your intuition will also tell you, even if you don't know what sign your Mars is in, which if you don't know what your birth chart looks like, you can literally type into Google your place of birth, the time, and your name, and it will give you everything that you need to know about your birth chart and your placements, because your birth chart is essentially a snapshot of the sky and where all of the planets were in that very moment where you were born, and everyone has a unique birth chart therefore. But your intuition also will tell you a lot about who you are and what areas of your life that you desire to create motion in. The cause lettuce represents desire. And I see here with Mars and the cause lettuce that maybe your body is even craving leafy greens. You've been thinking you're craving sugars and chocolates and ice creams and chips and fries, but actually what you're craving is leafy greens and the minerals and the fiber. Try it. Have the lettuce, have the salad, have the leafy greens. See how you feel afterward. And I'm also getting here within the chili. Spices are really good for you right now. Spicy foods, they're healthy for you, they're good for you, they're rejuvenating, and they keep you sharp. But have them later in the day, not too early on. And I want you to also know here in the chili that when you stimulate yourself in that way, what you also do is you create this fearlessness in you. The sweet corn represents you having a ritual. So every day having something that is spicy for you, it can be chili, but it can also be like ginger. Having a ginger shot, having ginger and celery juice, that's what I frequently do. You guys just saw it on my Instagram yesterday when I showed you the celery juice with ginger and kiwi and lime and lemon that I made. It was really good. That's been my ritual recently, and that is my quote-unquote spicy stimulation that I need for my body to feel like it's ready to go, to take action. And then we've got the lime, which was one of the ingredients of the juice. I want you to know here in the lime, what this represents for you is good luck. If you needed confirmation about your luck, about your prosperity, about whether you will be lucky or not, about whether you will have the things that you desire or not, I want you to know this is your sign, this is your confirmation that luck is on your side. You were overthinking for way too long. And what your angels are trying to say here within this divine reading that you were meant to receive, there's a reason why you're still here. And make sure that you leave a red heart emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know you're a real one. You're still here with me, because that's the only way anyone would know, your angels and your guides, that you're still within this reading, because you'd have to watch it all the way till here to know that the prompt was the red heart emoji in the comment section. But coming back to your reading, this is your confirmation that luck is on your side and you are on the right path. This is your confirmation that you were destined for more. You were destined for greatness. You were destined to lead a life that feels authentic, that has a lot of motion, traveling, seeing the world, where you're doing your own thing, singing your own song, perhaps even famous, semi-famous, well-known and respected in your industry. Now, my most beautiful soul, this is the reading that I received for you. All of the messages that your divine letter from your angels had in store for you. I hope that this resonated for you and that you found it insightful. Feel free to always let me know below in the comment section. You know I love to read and to hear from you. And of course, if you can't get enough of these psychic readings and you want to tune into more reading and you're ready to receive another letter from your angels, or to tune into a love reading or a career reading, check out my channel. I've got close to 800 pick a card reading and psychic reading videos on there. And wherever you are on our gorgeous planet, know that I'm sending you so much love from Zurich, Switzerland, and I can't wait to connect with you during one of our upcoming readings.